Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to be correcting sentence 4 and 5 under set 3 on our sentence correction sheet. Sentence 4 says, Tom Cruise starred in the remake of War of the Worlds, which was released on June 29, 2005 across the country. In this sentence, we're going to punctuate a title. We need to add commas to show that we have a non-restrictive phrase. We have a spelling error to address, and we'll add other commas. So first, let's punctuate our title. As you probably know, our title is The War of the Worlds. So again, to determine what type of punctuation we're going to use, we have to be able to categorize the literature. So now, we are going to decide if we're using italics or if we're using quotation marks. It all comes down to whether or not the piece is a major or shorter works. The title that we're looking at is actually a movie, and movies are considered to be major works, and so we know that we should italicize our title. However, because our text has already been printed, we need to show that it should be in italics by underlining the title. Next, I need to add my commas to show that I have a non-restrictive phrase. Now, in this sentence, my non-restrictive phrase is actually at the end of my sentence. So again, just a friendly reminder, a non-restrictive phrase is just a phrase that adds extra information to a sentence. The extra information that's added to my sentence begins at the word which. So I'm going to add a comma right after worlds before the word which. That begins my non-restrictive phrase. Next, I have a spelling error to address as well. You probably heard it. We know that Tom Cruise probably didn't stare in the movie. That would be pretty awkward. Instead, he should star in the movie, and so I'm going to change the spelling of stared to starred by adding an extra R. And lastly, I need to add another comma. This last comma goes between my day and my year. So I should have a comma between 29 and 2005. And lastly, let's correct sentence 5. Sentence 5 says, holistic medicine, which includes treatments such as acupuncture and aromatherapy, focuses on treating the whole person, body, and mind rather than just the affected part. In this sentence, I'm going to add commas to show that I have another non-restrictive phrase. I need to make sure I'm using the right word, and I'm also going to add dashes. So first, let's begin with those commas. So again, a non-restrictive phrase is simply going to add extra information to the sentence. My extra information in this sentence is going to begin at that word which. Now in this sentence, my non-restrictive phrase is actually in the center of the sentence, and so I'm going to use two commas. My first comma is going to be right after medicine and before which, and the second is going to be after aromatherapy before focuses. Those commas show that my non-restrictive phrase is in the center of the sentence. Next, I need to make sure I'm using the right word. So there are 3 words in this sentence that have been spelled correctly, but we've used the wrong form. So for instance, my first word is whole. I need to change this spelling to the spelling with a W. I'm also going to change then to than. And lastly, I need to change affected to affected. If you need to, make a note for yourself on your sentence correction sheet. An affect is typically a noun. An affect is typically a verb. If you need to add another note for yourself, you can let yourself know that affect is basically like saying impact. So we're saying that it's more than just the impacted part. Changing the spellings of those words would correct our using the right word error. And lastly, I'm going to add dashes. So dashes are very similar to using parentheses. It just lets my audience know that I'm trying to clarify information. So when I talk about clarification, I'm looking at what I mean by whole body. So the author of this sentence is saying it treats the whole body, but I also need to add more information or more clarification. My clarification is body and mind. So I'm going to add my dashes between person and body and mind and rather. You also could use parentheses here. If you have any questions about how we've corrected these two sentences, feel free to reach out. Thanks for watching, everyone.